Hello everyone. Recently, almost all of Uzbekistan media have been covered with the news that Central Bank of Uzbekistan kept the key rate at 14%. We decided to explain in simple terms what the key rate is and to understand how its level affects our daily lives. So, let's go! The refinancing rate of the country's central bank is an important indicator of economic development. It's used to determine the amount of taxes, fines, and other monetary payments. Initially, the refinancing rate determined the interest rate at which commercial banks could borrow from central bank. In this case, the bank's profit depends on the differences between the key rate and the interest rate at which loans were subsequently issued to the population and businesses for any purposes. Both high and low values of the refinancing rate of the regulatory have their pros and cons. Let's look at both scenarios. When this indicator decreases, the following processes begin to occur in the economy. First, loans become cheaper. Second, interest rates on deposits fall. The third, the purchasing power of the population increases. As a result, the overall state of the economy improves. However, with this, inflation rises because producers cannot quickly saturate the market with the goods of increased demand. When the key rate indicators increases, the opposite process occurs. Inflation decreases, borrowing costs raises, and the loan interest rates increases, and consumer demand falls. Now, let's talk about the refinancing rate and its impact. Basically, this is a rate that affects the country's economy and how the banks deal with the borrowers. Borrowers can be companies or regular people. The refinancing rate is tied to the country's inflation. Inflation means money's value goes down, leading to the fewer people buying things and making things hard for citizens and businesses. A low rate means it's cheaper to borrow money, but this isn't good for the businesses because they make less money when things are sold cheap. If you're late on loan, payments, taxes, utility bills, this rate is used to figure out how much you owe. The key rate also affects the currency. If it goes up, the country's money becomes more appealing and banks make more money. If it goes down, the currency value drops because savings aren't as profitable. The rate is super important for both regular people and businesses. Expensive loans are bad for businesses. They make everything costly. Cheap loans give businesses new opportunities, encouraging them to start new companies or expand services. Low rates encourage spending, making prices rise. When this goes up, people and businesses stop borrowing and don't spend their savings. But at the same time, bank savings interest increase, so people save more. This makes the economy focus on saving, which can slow its growth. The Central Bank of Uzbekistan decides on the rate after carefully looking at the country's situation. Every country's economy has ups and downs. During tough times, central bank can influence prices and inflations. So the cost of deposits or loans for people and businesses will stay the same. This is because the cost of getting money, including the places where the banks lend money to each other to keep the things running smoothly, won't change. Keeping the key rate as it is will help control inflation for the year. This is needed to make sure that things like exchange rates and the amount of cash outside of the banks don't match with the prices. That's our segment about the key rate. See you next episodes.